BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers phone, video, and live chat sessions with
bit. What's going on, guys? We are back. Probably start here pretty soon. So I ended up printing off a copy of that last project we worked on for the CodeAcademy for the Phaser 3 tutorial. So I got the source code, printed that out. I'm gonna go on actually here soon. Actually, nah, I'll do it right now. I'll go ahead and grab that. Hold on a second. Do I have it? Ah, I do. So I will go ahead and put that up. Need to figure out how I will actually share that with everybody. I'll figure it out. Probably share it with Gmail. There we go. so I can get like a refresher. Yeah, I think we're good on that. Sorry to take a good 8 minutes of your time trying to figure that out, but we're good. Alright, so next tutorial we're going through will be the Aseprite animations. So we already did the introduction tutorial. Now we're going to go ahead and figure out how to make our 2D sprites actually move. So I'm actually kind of excited for this one. Okay, so I'm going to kind of pause this so we can hear. All right. So push this through.
This video won't be teaching animation techniques. This one will simply be teaching how to use Aseprite's tools for animation. In the first video, we finally defeated Don, the crazy donut shop manager guy. If you got through that video, you've been promoted to head donut maker. But I don't just want to make and sell donuts. I want a donut army, and you're going to help me do it. So here we are in our Aseprite file. We have our canvas set up here, which is 32 pixels by 32 pixels in size. We have a donut on one layer and our background on the other layer. Here's a neat little trick straight off the bat. If you hold Alt and click on the eyeball, it will only show the contents of that layer. This is super important if you have a whole bunch of layers like I do in this file, just to isolate something and work on that layer. Woohoo! When I'm animating, I like to put the layers panel on the bottom. You should remember from the last video, you can do that by just clicking here and clicking bottom. A lot more space for animation frames. The way animation works is actually really simple. All that's happening is individual pictures are getting played in sequence. So if this is an image of number 1, we have an image of number 2, and an image of number 3. If we play that, it'll just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's how animation works. So to add in a new frame to our document, all you have to do is right click here and click new frame, or Alt N, or down here in the bottom right to this little plus button. To delete frames, you can just highlight them and click delete, highlight, right click and do delete, or highlight and Alt C. So if I add some frames into the timeline here with Alt N, you might notice that these two timelines look different. And why is that? Well, it has to do with this button, which we ignored in the last tutorial. This means discontinuous or continuous. So the donut right now is discontinuous. Each frame is an individual entity. If I click here on frame 1 and add in a red splodge and then go to frame 2, the red splodge is no longer there. Let me just delete the red splodge. Right. Whereas the background is continuous. So if I draw a red splodge on the background layer, that's going to be present throughout every single frame that is continuous. You can even have a combination of discontinuous and continuous. So let's say I do want these two to be continuous. I'll just take this, copy it, and paste it there. Now we have some continuous frames amongst discontinuous frames. It's usually best to keep things that aren't changing on continuous, because that means you don't have to keep redrawing or copy and pasting frames. So the background never changes in this, so I'm just going to keep it like this. For your first challenge, what I want you to do is add in a new frame, making sure the donut is on discontinuous and the background is on continuous. Pretty simple.
Okay, so before we can start this, we have to actually make our own donut and background. So let's just go ahead and let's just start that. So let's go ahead and make a new sprite sheet. Do we want to make it 32 pixels, or do you want to just keep the 16? Honestly, I think the way he had it, if we look at it, I would say that's 16 for here, but I think it's 32 overall. You know what? Let's just do that. We'll just make it 32. So 32 by 32 pixels. Okay. All right. So we'll go here, and so we'll start out right there. So I believe when we oh, you know what? Let's go ahead and start this back up a little bit. kind of like having music in the background when we do this, so let's keep that the way it is. So edit into preferences, the background. The size is 16 by 16, but we now have a 32 by 32. So let's go ahead into the 32, and let's make that the background. Okay, so this is now a brand new one. So our first layer, we want to rename it. We'll start with the background first. So what kind of background do we want to have? So I'll go ahead and kind of do what he was doing. If not, so press G, have like a little bit of a background here. All right, so like what we did beforehand, if you remember, so shortcut M for the rectangle tool. So we'll go ahead with this. And we will make that G and make this, yeah, that color. So there you go. And then we'll also, let's deselect that. Okay, so there we go. Got a simple kind of background, but you know, I'm gonna add a little bit more to this. So let's go ahead and make the pencil tool. So B, add a little bit of these down here. I'll make it a little higher. So there's those. There's a little bit of grass. And then we'll put it down here. So yeah, there we go. Just kind of simple. Alright, so now that we have that, let's darken it up a little bit. So brighten up these patches. Or darken them. There you go. So just kind of give it a little depth. I don't like the way that kind of looks, so we'll just. Yeah, you know what? Let's keep it at that. So now we have a background. Probably put a little bit of clouds up here. I don't want to do that. So we have pixel perfect on. So what's happen if we take that off a little bit? Normally you kind of want to have it on, but you know, since we're doing it like this, so we'll do this. Okay, so now G, fill that in. All right, maybe a little gray here. Oh, don't want to do that. Forgot to switch the tool. There we go. So now we got clouds. There we go. Didn't want the gray to kind of overtake it a little bit. Matter of fact, I don't even know if I like it that bright of gray anyway. Let's probably maybe lighten it up a little bit. There we go. Yeah, because they're, you know, they're clouds. They don't need to be that dark. So okay, now we have the background. So let's go ahead and make a new layer. And this will be our donut. Okay. So we'll make the donut. Alright, so let's make the eclipse. No, that's a selection. What would this be? Shift U. Okay. So we have now selected the ellipse tool. On new layer. Okay. Now M to select. Go ahead and select this. Move this down, kind of where he was. Alright. Actually, maybe I can make this a little bigger. So Shift U. Make this. There we go. That looks a lot better. So M. Let's move this about right there. Cool. Alright, so we want to add this. Oh, don't want to do that. There. Now, we gotta select this off, so press M, click off of here. Don't want to use that. G, that's what I was looking for. So there's that, but remember, we could get a different palette. Just have to kind of presets. There we go. So Game Boy Color Type 1. Kind of like that. There we go. Maybe a little darker. Okay. So there's our donut. I gotta make this maybe a little bit more brown. You know what? That's fine. So now let's go ahead and do the selection. Let's do this. And then let's make our donut. I need a new preset. It has a little bit more vibrancy to it. A little bit more depth. Okay, so I kind of want a difference between this color. So I could do that. So there you go. I will say that's probably not the greatest donut. Let's try a different color. I'm not really satisfied with that. You know what? Let's make it orange, like really Halloween. There we go. And then kind of have like a. Do I really want to do it like there? Yeah. I think that would be okay. So if I do this and then go like a little darker. See, nope. So a little bit on the inside, and then we want to get the eyedropper tool. Do this. Now that that's selected, there we go. Okay. And do we want that light? Let's see how that would look. Yikes. That doesn't look good. What if I just went like this? So it's a little bit more defined. You can definitely see it in here now. And then if I can add some like sprinkles, maybe like little black sprinkles. Kinda hard since the black is middle. Guess we'll have to see how white is. Yep. I have to do it there. So now we have our sprinkles. You can kind of see on there. I don't know if you can really see it too much. Let me move this up. Let's see if you can see it. It's a bit better. So that's on there, on the second background. We can take this, the eyedropper on this, and just kind of brighten it up a little bit on there. And then I can grab this lasso tool, kind of give it a little bit more depth. There we go. So we'll take that, and we will. Oh, that's all right. So we'll do that. All right. That brightened it up a bit. And then there we go. So kind of looks like there's a little bit of sun. Anyway, that's our basic donut. Nothing really too fancy going on with it. So now let's see what he wants us to do. Add a new frame. The donut has to be on discontinuous and the background on continuous. So, okay. So, let's go ahead with that. So the background is right here. Select that. We'll go with, is it continuous? All right. So, frame. New frame. Okay. So I'll probably do you gotta go up here into the frame, of course. Okay. So we add that. How many did he want us to add? He seems to have only one right here, but if we go back a little bit, he has about 6. So I'm not sure. We went a little too forward. Okay, so we did it though. We are now on here. Let's go ahead and add a new frame. So you can see that this is continuous, and then we got discontinuous for the donut. So, all right. So I have a feeling that's going well based on looking a little bit forward. If you take this part and this part and you just, or take this part, you go up by one on one frame, return it back on the second, or keep it like that on the second, and then the third one, move this side up, so that way when it plays it kind of goes like that, kind of like what he was doing. All right, so now we have this. We added what we needed to by adding the continuous frames right here, right there, and then the discontinuous for the donut. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and pause this and see where we're at now.
See how you do. So I've just injected all the donuts with this questionable life-giving serum thing. Now we gotta help them come to life. We have 2 frames now, and on the second donut frame, I'm just gonna make it wiggle a little bit. I'll do this by using the tools that I already know from the last tutorial. Take the lasso tool, take this side down, and just take this side up, cleaning up areas as I go along. If you want to see what that looks like, you can just go down to the timeline options here and press play, or shortcut enter. Kind of wiggling. You can flip back and forth between the frames as you're working on it with the left and right arrow keys. That'll help you make more subtle changes as you go along. Let me just fix this up a bit. The preview window is useful because it's independent of the canvas. So if I click the play button, it's going to keep playing while the canvas isn't. So I can see all the time and maybe eyeball what tweaks need to be made. If you right click the buttons, you can change the speed of the playback. so times 3, super fast, vibrating donuts, or 0.25,
super slow.
more of a wiggly wiggle. You can obviously do the same here by right-clicking the timeline play, but it's wiggling just a little bit too fast for my liking. So what you can do is change the properties of an individual frame. If we right-click on one of our frames, click Frame Properties, or P, this little box pops up, tells us which frame number we're on, and also gives us the duration in milliseconds, which we can change. So if I change this to 1,000, I'm pretty sure that's a second. This frame will play for a second, and this frame will play for 150 milliseconds, which is 0.15 seconds. So we should see a hold of this, and then this. Let's have a look. Hold, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Just a bit of a hold and then bleh. One really important feature in Aseprite animations is you can tag your animations. If I highlight these 2 frames, right click, new tag. So let's give it a name. I'll call it wiggle, and it'll go from frame 1 to frame 2. You can change the color of the tag. I guess I'll just do it red, and assign an animation direction. Forward just means that it'll play forward from left to right. Reverse means that it'll play backwards from right to left. Ping pong means it'll continuously play back and forth, like we're going to keep it on forward. We've now got our little tagged animation area called wiggle. So for the second challenge, what I want you to do is make a little donut wiggle animation just like this. Adjust the frame properties until it feels nice. And I want you to add a little wiggle tag to the animation.
Do you want us to add tag animation? We could still go ahead and do that. Okay, so he wants us to do this wiggle. So let's go ahead and lasso with the Q. Okay. Wants us to do this wiggle right here. Oh wait, we're on the background. We don't want to do that. We want the donut. So, wait. Ha! Don't want to do that. There. So we want this to go. Ooh. Yeesh. Hold on. Hold on. So we'll go ahead and edit this a little bit. And he wants, oh, nope, don't want to do that. Wants this side to go down a little bit. Whew. Let's see what that looks like. So we gotta clean up these lines a little bit. Alright, so that looks good. Do the eyedropper on here. Go to B again. Clean up these little swatches right here. What I want to know what the eraser tool is. E. So we'll get rid of that one. Eyedropper. So E, I. Okay. So, also want to kind of, so what is that? E for erase. It's being weird. Ugh. I drop E. Okay, there we go. We also need to put one right here for the black. So we'll go right here. Alright, so we have successfully touched it up. Oh, dang. The opacity. What do we do? Did we change the opacity? Uh-oh. What do we do? I'm gonna undo that. Okay. How the heck? Alright, I don't know how that turned off, but okay. Oops. Alright, so we'll just bring this side up then. Or wait a minute, is it wanting us to... heck with it. So let's bring this up. side up, and then bring this side down. All right, same thing. We gotta go ahead and fill this out a little bit. There we go. Okay. Eye picker tool. All right. The eye picker tool. The dropper tool. And then we will put it in here. B. And then we'll edit this. Here, and get rid of this one. So E, get rid of that. Get with the eyedropper tool again. There we go. And then we'll just supplement that one. And I think that'll be okay. So, I don't like how that one looks, so I'll just go ahead and delete this one as well on the third frame. So, no. I had to think for a second, what the heck just happened? Okay. So I think it might be okay. Alright. So I think we're good. And so I think he said that we can frame properties and then we can adjust the milliseconds. Now for here, there's a donut. What was the tag? New tag. So wiggle? Nope. From 1 to 3. And it's black that we chose. So in this, from 1 to 3, it's a wiggle. So you can tag these with different ones if you want to put more on here. Like more different animations. And then this creates like a whole sprite sheet. So that way when you import it into your game, you can select like from this frame to this frame, this would be, you know, walking, this would be jumping, you know, that way you can do it all on one. You're not importing tons of separate sprite sheets. It makes it a lot more simpler. Okay. So let's, can I actually move this to, there we go, that could be one. Actually, so we can drag this and it also, it becomes so we can start on 2 and then make it rubber band. I think. So this isn't as fast as really as I want it to go. So let's go ahead and frame properties. We can make this go 1,000, which is a second. Can actually do all 3 of these and then the frame properties and make these a second. So from frame number 1, 2, and 3, we're gonna make this go 1 second. But yeah, see, it's just going there. I want to rubber band. So frame properties again. Okay. I need to figure out, how did he make, because there was a forward, but how did he, okay, so we right click on it. I kind of want it like a regular. I don't want to alter it. I just need to figure out what did he do to make it rubber band like that. I know he wants to. So the tag properties. Aha! It was in the tag properties. All right. So we'll go up here. Tag properties, animation direction, ping pong. So let's go ahead. There we go. I like that. And it's just a wiggle. We can also select all three of these, frame properties, and we can make this 500. So be like half a second. And let's go ahead and play this. There you go. Now, is this all three of them? Yep, see? I only chose one. So now we'll do half a second for all three. There we go. See, now it's wiggling a little faster. I kind of like that. Alright, cool. So now that is done. Let's go ahead and see what he has next.
A little donut wiggle animation.
Okay.
We need to run through a couple more useful features of the animation tools. So I'll add in some new frames. You notice that the tag adds onto the new frames. We've got to make sure we fix that and change it from the first frame to the second frame.
Yep, we already did that.
Frames on top of each other. So I'll take this first frame, copy it, and paste. And then we got some empty frames to work with. So if I wanted to draw a donut here, I could just copy over this and then paste it. And then we can just start editing it. But what if I want to see what it looked like in the last position? This is where onion skinning comes in, and it is super useful. So this little button here turns on onion skinning. You can't
Onion
see anything right
skinning.
now, but that's because the background is in the way. We turn off the background, we can see the previous frame. If we put another drawing here, like a big green blob or something, and went back to this frame, we could also see the future frames. Onion skinning allows you to see frames in the past and frames in the future. And you can change which frames you can see by dragging the handles down here. It's a little bit fiddly, but if we drag this end away from this frame, we no longer see the future. And if we drag this frame away from this frame, we no longer see the past. This is really useful when doing animation to make sure everything lines up as it should. As you can see, it doesn't work right now with the background on, but you can just mess with the settings. If you click on this little button like we've seen before, the little settings will open behind the sprite. This works only for transparent layers. So if we put it in front of the sprite, we now see all of our onion skin frames. But they are on top of our frame, so I don't really like that. I usually just keep it on behind and turn the background off. You can change the tint of the onion skin frames with this button. You can change the opacity.
That way you don't have any noise.
I tend to just keep it on the default and mess with it if I need to. But that brings us to our next challenge. I want you to animate the donut and bring it to life. Anything creative that you can think of to make this donut into a little minion. Try and use all of the tools that I've shown you so far.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and let this, do its walkthrough. And okay. So the next one, they're going to do an example. But I think we could make it grow arms. So let's go ahead and turn the background off. So that way we have just our scene right here. And instead of having these wiggle animations, I can just copy and paste and then paste. So that way it's all the same. So that way now we have a fresh start and we don't have to, delete anything. So now let's go ahead and grab these. So I want on the first frame nothing to happen. Then on the second frame, I want, these things to start coming out. These arms, I should say, Yep. These arms to start sprouting out. So then 3. Now see how they're gone? We can't see what happened in the past. Now we can do onion frames. So now we can determine that in the previous scene, this is where these are drawn. Or we can go ahead and we can just copy, we can paste it in here, and then we can start off from where we were at. So that helps. All right, so this comes up more. And then we'll bring it up to here. All right, so. All right, and then we're gonna make another new frame on 4. So there's 4, okay. And then bring it up here. So as you can see, we're gonna go ahead and, okay, bring a new frame in. Okay. Bring it up. Okay. So then we'll bring this up. Okay. So we'll bring this up here, and then we'll kind of erase these other 2 right here. I keep won't put that on. Okay. So we will go ahead and we're on the donut, so this should we're on the erase tool though. So here's this. Add a new frame, and then start adding here. Now he has arms. So as you can see from this frame, you can watch as it's happening. And now that he has arms, we can probably go ahead and give him feet. So this right here, from this one to this one, we need to edit our tag properties. So 1 to 6, we need to do arm growth. So arm growth from here, and then we'll add new frame, and now we need to reduce the tag to 6. So now we're going to add a new tag here and call it leg growth. Okay, so now we're only on to 7. So from here to here. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and add these. Okay, add a new frame. New frame. And then, cool thing is, for the new frame, we can then just go ahead and select. Well, actually, are these the same? Okay, so then I can just kind of let's manipulate this a little bit more. Let's erase. Erase this and put out this one. So this is a good thing to have an onion because you know where it's coming from. So now we'll go ahead and put another black one right here. So bring this out. Okay. So we'll do that. Add a new frame, and then bring this down. Oh, bring this down. Add a new frame. Bring this back up. Oh, might need to adjust. Oh, gosh dang it. So we need to grab this here and bring him back up. And nope. Come on. Oh, that's because this is on. Duh. Okay. I was like, why isn't it going? So we'll go ahead and add these back. And alright, so let's go ahead and take him and move him up. And actually, no. Let's go ahead and bring him back where he was. Actually, no. I'll bring him up one. And then for the next scene. Oh. Actually, I need to see when that leg growth stops. So it stops about right there. So the leg growth goes to 9. So tag properties will go to 9. And then we'll add a new tag here. That's jump. Okay. So now, well, we want to go to, no, cancel. We need to, no, tag properties and do to 12. Okay, so now we're jumping. Okay, and then the next frame, we'll go ahead and remove these. Remove these other ones, and then we'll go ahead and add them back here. Oh, oops. And then let's move him up again, just a little bit more. We'll probably double it. And then go ahead, add a new frame. Add them up a little bit higher. And then, so we want to bring him. So now he's all the way up here. Now I need to figure out. I'll need to. Yeah, I can rubber band this. So we'll go ahead, and for this, we'll make those other ones go forward, but for this one we can do a ping pong. So we can make him come back down. So, alright. We'll start in the first frame and see what happens. So remember, this is oh, the whole thing's ping ponging. Well, I don't want to do that. Hold on. I don't need this one. This one's gonna go forward. This one needs to go forward, and then this one needs to ping pong. Okay, so let's do that. Okay. Nope, nope. Okay. I just need to do one continuous frame. So it does the arm growth. And it does the leg growth. Okay. Goes to the next one. And then comes back down. And he jumps. So now it's ping-ponging and gets to right here. Oh, okay. So we want to make these frame properties. We'll go 200 milliseconds. See how fast that goes. Okay, 200's fine. Then we'll take 7 through 9, and then we will do the frame properties on that to 200. And then finally to the jump, we will make these 200. Okay. So it does that. Adds his feet. And then it's pretty neat. Got him jumping now. Constant frame rate? I want to be able to play the whole animation through, but I don't, because the thing is I want him to be able to get to the arm growth and then the leg growth forwards, but then when he gets to jumping, I want him to ping pong back and forth. So, which will still do it if, you know, you're... man. If you import the sprite sheet. But I want to actually be able to view it on here. So 1 to 14. 1 to 200. So it's setting, okay. I just needed to go outside the tags. I don't want to delete the tag though. Forward. So we can make this one. So not to make everything black, we could just go here. This one, give me that. The leg growth can be red to just separate it out. And then the jump can be black. So the arm growth, then we got our leg growth, and then we have our jump animation. And we don't have to have skinning on anymore. Okay. So I think we got the animation down. That's awesome. Nice. Maybe this one I can make this go a little faster. So we can make this about 150. That's awesome. All right. So now our little donut has spread arms and legs and is able to jump. So let's see what if he actually solves that issue where we can have multiple tags and then a continuous, you know, scene. So we'll see what the example walkthrough is here.
Let's go through with an example of how I might do it. I'm going to take this base donut frame and paste it over. I'm just going to squash it down with the transform tools. I'm going to change the pivot point of the transform tool at the bottom and just squash it down. But I can't see what it looked like before, so let me turn on some onion skinning frames. So settings should be behind sprite, and let's turn the background layer off. Make sure I've dragged that handle out so I can see the previous frame. I might even skip back a bit, make this a little bit more extreme. You'll find that animation is a lot of tweaking and going back and forth. Don't worry about it. This is just how it goes. Because I can see where the sprinkles are going. So this sprinkle is missing. So let's put this up there. Let's add a tag to this animation and call it the alive. It's squashing down. I'm going to have it pop up into the air. So let me take this frame so I don't have to draw it out again and paste it here. And then let's just move it into a high position. When it's in the air, I'm going to draw in some little legs. I can see from the little preview window that the sprinkle, when it squashes down, looks a bit weird. Let me just try this. Kind of want the purple area in the middle to squash out a bit more. Constantly going back and forth, tweaking it out. He's in the air and he's got his legs out. So in the next frame, if we add the frame, I'm going to bring him down and he's going to land, but his legs are going to be fully stretched out. Kind of doesn't look like he's landing. So on this frame, we'll add another frame in. Just drag the whole donut down a bit. Maybe his legs can sort of bend in a bit. Add another frame and then just add this one to there. It should land just like that. I think it might be better if instead of going to straight leg to bend to straight leg, we just go from bend to straight leg. So I'll delete this straight leg frame here. A lot of tweaking, a lot of playing it out. He squashes down and then he jumps up, his legs come popping out, hits the floor and then bounces back to his normal position. What if he had eyes? Pop his eyes open a bit. As that eye's going up, I'll add the next eye in. What does that look like? It's kind of silly, but I like it. Let's mess with the timings a bit. I want the squash to last just a little bit longer. So 150 milliseconds, let's change that to 250. Last frame, I'll change that to about 2000 so it lasts long. And then wiggle, wiggle into boom. We can even add in an idle animation. So let's move that into 11. Add a new tag, call this idle. Really quickly, move this head down, bing bong, change the frame properties, and let's put this at like 300. Now he has a little idle animation. So we have the wiggle, he's wiggling, and boom, pops up, his eyes pop out, and he has the little idle animation. If we go to the playback button and do play all frames, ignore the tags, we can see all of that in sequence. It's not incredible.
There we go. That's where it's at. So we can play it, but play all frames and ignore the tags. There we go. Nice. There we go. So now that's done. Does he show us how to put this into a sprite sheet?
But that's how you animate in Aseprite. To
There you
export your
go.
animation, all you have to do is go to File and Export and save it as a .gif or GIF, however you say that. So let's call this
donut.gif file.
and this will save it as an animation. I'll put the resize on to about 800% so I can show people. You can select the frames that you're going to export as an animation. So you could just export the wiggle or the alive or the idle, whichever one you wanted. But I'm just going to do all of the frames and all of the visible layers. So if I export that, set the animation loop, yes please. And if we open the file, we have our little GIF animation. Pretty cool. If you want to export all of the frames as layers like PNG, all you have to do is change it to PNG files. And that will export every single frame as a PNG, so you can put it into some external video editor or something. Those settings are really useful. If we look at a file where I have a whole bunch of different characters and layers, look at all these layers. And let's say I just wanted to export this attack animation that he does. Bing, bing, bing. I could just go to File, Export, and Frames, and attack. There are a lot of super useful settings there for exporting your animations, so you have no excuse not to send me them on Discord and social media. Congratulations for getting this far and learning how to use Aseprite and the animation tools. Why don't you try and make it work? Or, if you want to improve your animations, check out the 12 Principles of Animation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Okay. So, we have now been able to animate. And it's not too bad. So we can export this. Export sprite sheet. There we go. See that? Comes out and it makes it as a sprite sheet. And then when we add it in, it'd be 32 by 32. So by rows, by columns. So we can do this in columns. Horizontal strip by rows. So fixed number of columns. So we can make this like, let's say 5. See, now we can do it here 5. And then we can make a whole sprite sheet right here. So visible layers. So we want only the layered donut. We don't need anything else. So see that? So whenever we make it, we can go ahead and take out all the background or anything like that and make it like that. Just the donut. But I'm gonna put all the visible layers. Layout by rows. So yeah. So there's no constraints. Right. Okay, so it previews. So Sprite. Export. Okay, where did that, okay, hold on. Where did that actually, where did that export to? We're gonna make this, donut, anim tutorial. Okay, and then we'll save that as a Aseprite. Okay, so then we have that, but so we have this. So what if we have this? How did we export that? Where did that go into our files in here? Into the tutorials area? There's the donut animation tutorial, but where did that go? So export the sprite sheet. Constraint. Where output? JSON data. I don't want to. You can trim your borders. All frames. So we're getting all the frames, but like he said, you can do select frames layout by rows. How? So if we do an export, so you can do an 800, like we did, 800%, and then we could, as a GIF file, as a GIF file, sheesh, and then donut animate tutorials. So there's a GIF. So now I need to know how to export this. All the frames as a PNG. and then we do it in the same area. There we go. So we export it there as a PNG, and those are all of our frames. So where did that GIF file get sent to? GIF. .gif. Okay. So now it's in there. Do we have to? No? Um, 800. Visible layers, all layers, going forward. I can do a ping pong. Animated loop. Okay. Okay. Yes. There we go. Now we have this. This is a GIF file. GIF, however you want. Is that? Hold on. Okay. Now I need to. That's not what I'm looking for. Let's see if we can do this. Can we export as a GIF at 800? Okay, so donut animation. Okay. And then we export. Yes. Yes. Hey. There we go. So now we have made a GIF of our first animated image. All right, so I guess all that leaves us now is, well, now we have to make ourselves, well, a game. Right, of course, but there's a few things that we need to think about. So if we make a game where it's long, we'd have to find, I guess, a save point. We have to figure out how to implement a save point and create menus, that sort of thing. Which, I mean, obviously we could actually do a little bit later when we actually come to it. So this would bring us to the end of at least the animating. So now we know all the tools that we need to make it. We know all the, ways that we can actually animate these. We know how to import sprite sheets into our games. So I mean, really, we have all the basic tools that we need now to actually get started on developing our game. The biggest thing is, and there's this is the very first thing you have to do, and it's called, and I believe I've already discussed this way back in another video or another session, but you have to design your game, like what game you are wanting to do, and that all starts with making what developers or game designers called a game design manual. And this is a living document. You're gonna have to keep like continuously updating this, to help keep track of your progress. That way anyone who looks at this knows it can be on the same page as you. Like, what sprites have already been done, characters have already been developed, what the purpose of your game is, what's the name of your game, what software you're using, and what version. So, this is something that you guys can do. I'll probably do this. Well, I could do it in this session, or I can make, a completely another session, and instead of, combining it into one. But that's the thing is, I don't know what kind of game I want to make. I mean, the thing that first comes to mind is we should, start off with like what we know and make, a simple platformer, like we did. And just keep it there. But we could also, expand, and we can do like how The Legend of Zelda did. And you can, follow like this character around as he's adventuring, and then let's say he enters like a cave, and then you go into like a completely another scene, and you start doing that, and then if you go back through the cave, you end up at the last scene, or just or continuously moving forward, like a rock could fall and block that, and you have to keep making the player move forward. But doing that, then you have to make we'll have to think about making a lot more sprites. So you'll have to make like a one facing forward at the at the player, and then one facing away from them, one facing right and left. So, well, I mean, technically you could just use a mirror. So just a right, forward, and a down facing. And you'd have to do that with each enemy. So there's a lot of things to just consider, but the best thing is like, what kind of game moving forward do we want to create? At this point, I'm really not for sure. And I've been kind of, debating on this, like, what kind of game do I make? Because, I mean, you could also make, like, a board game, or, like, a card game, or, like that'd be a lot more advanced. But, like, you can make, like, start, like, these 3D, 2D, 3D, like a blend with 2D and 3D mixed. But definitely have to look at more tutorials for that. But as far as this, we've already nailed it. So now we have this. We can actually import this into a game as like a start menu, and then you can put like overlay text on the top right here, and you know, just have fun with it. So we can it's kind of hard to like come up with that on the spot. I know we have a couple of users here right now that might be able to give their own opinion. Oh, maybe I could put like a poll on, see what kind of games people want to make or want to see. You know, I wonder if they're, because you can make like a card game tutorial, if there's a card game tutorial for Phaser 3. See what some people have made. So they've made this one right here by Morgan Page. They were able to make a card game. So what is card flip? Okay. So this guy, Our K Tutorials, is pretty good too. I followed a little bit of what he had done. This was off, you know, off camera, but I had just kind of searched around a little bit and seen what others have made based on this. And Morgan Page here again made a this kind of, it's not Minecraft, sort of kind of like Minecraft or Terraria kind of looking. But yeah, so we have Morgan Page here, who makes, it seems like on the preview screen that you can do monsters and stuff with. I'm not gonna, you know, go through here and take, you know, any away from him. Just kind of want to skip through here a little bit, just kind of getting a look. I kind of want to see how it works. So I want to see if like he can grab it and if it moves around any, maybe. Yeah, so yeah, let's see through here. So he just makes the main configurations, got the main scene. So he makes this configuration, import main scene from, okay. So export default class main scene, extends phaser scene, right? Okay, so he uses his own software to make his own cards. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And so he goes to there. So he imports his own fonts. Yeah. Okay. So, data. Constructor is the data. He's setting everything here, so the text name would equal the text name, whatever is put in here. Oh, okay, so he's adding setters and getters right now. So that way when it's called, he can set a card name, and then he takes whatever the new name is, and then that's in here. So the text name dot text will be set card name. Card draggable. Okay. So I think at some point we could even follow it. If we decide to make it a card-based kind of game, it would be good to kind of be able to learn from this user. And you know, obviously we're not going to create you know, sprite to sprite. We'd have our own sprites and stuff, and we'd be able to make our own things. But I think that would be pretty good, at least to, you know, then we can make like actual card games, and we can make them draggable and interact with things. So just broadening our ideas. All right. So I think we're good on that. But all right. So I think at this point, we'll probably end the session here, and then, you know, we'll give it more time to think on what kind of game we want, or at least I'm wanting to do, and then, you know, we can make up a game design manual, or, and at least, you know, get in the practice of doing that. So, and, you know, and documenting. Or we can just, you know, start developing sprites and go straight into it. But it's better to have the idea concrete beforehand, before you actually start going into it. So yeah, all right, we'll think about it, we'll come back, and then we'll start developing our own game the next time we come through. All right, so I think we're good here. So the next time we come through, we're gonna have to get Visual Studio Code because we're not obviously going through CodeAcademy anymore. So in here, we'll have to get our own server so that way we can host. But I'll tell you like what extensions we're gonna use and what we're gonna need and what we'll do. So I think that should do it. Alright. Well, I look forward to meeting you guys in the next session when we start actually developing the layout of the game. And, get into it. Once the layout's developed, we'll start developing our own sprites. Get all those layouts and the backgrounds, kind of set up. And then once those are done and we have the player and enemies and that sort of stuff, we will then go to actually into development. All right. You guys have a good night. See you guys in the next one.